Hi everyone! Today I'm going to make a floating vellum butterfly card. So for this I've got the Uniko large butterfly stamp and coordinating die, a couple of sentiments that I might use one of those. I've got myself a piece of vellum. I've got myself some satin cardstock, and the only reason I'm using this is because I have tons of it, so I need to get it used up, but plain white cardstock would be just as good. And I've got a couple of 12 by 12 papers which I got from, I think it was The Works, and it's called the Botanical Gardens 12 by 12. Yeah, it was The Works. It's quite an old one. I think I've had this a couple of years. You might still be able to get it. Anyway, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take in my piece of vellum and my stamping platform. I'm going to take in my stamp. I'm just going to basically lay this anywhere. So I'm going to lay it down in that corner and pick that up. And I'm going to ink this up with the Versamark. Let's get a nice amount of ink on that stamp. And then we can bring this across. And that is stamped absolutely beautiful. Just going to pop that to one side. Going to take in a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to take in some gold embossing powder, and this is by Stampendous. I'm going to run this all the way over my image. And I am going to go back the other way, and this just ensures that everywhere is covered. That looks pretty good. I'm going to pop that straight back into the jar. And I'm going to heat this up with my heat gun. When you're heat embossing on number 2, and I always heat from the back to start with, so just get that vellum nicely warmed up from the back. And then we can come across to the front. And that's heated that one up. I'm going to take in the corresponding die, put this on my plates. I'm going to line that up, so get this nicely lined up, and I am going to run that through my die cutting machine. And if we lift this off, we've now cut out a beautiful butterfly. I'm going to colour this in very quickly. So if we turn it over onto the wrong side, The only bits I want to colour in is this side. So I'm going to take in my alcohol markers, and with the cardstock, with the backing papers that we pulled out, we've got some pinks and yellows and this beautiful cornflower colour blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very quickly colour in this floral, and I'm not doing any blending, I'm not doing anything fancy, I'm just getting some ink down. And then I'm going to take in a pink, yeah, and I'm going to colour this floral in the pink. Again, not worrying about blending, I'm just getting some colour down on that floral. So that's that one done. And then I want to choose a green, and I'm going to go for quite a dark green and just colour in those leaves. And then if I take back in that pink, I think we'll do this one with the pink. And then I'm going to take in the brightest yellow, and I'm just going to colour in these doodles along the bottom with the yellow. And maybe a couple of those little dots. We could have a couple of yellow buds. And that's all I want to do to this. So when we turn our butterfly over, we've got this really pretty floral going on, covered in alcohol pen now. So taking in, so we're going to put that to one side, taking in my A4 card blank, I'm going to line up those corners, give that a nice burnish. I'm going to keep the width of this card, which is 5 3/4. And what that's given us is a 5 3/4 square card. This next piece, I'm going to cut down to 5 1/2. And 5 1/2 that way, and that's going to give us our first matte layer for our card. And this piece I'm going to cut down to 4 1/2 inches. And put that to one side for a minute. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to give that a nice burnish. With our butterfly, the butterfly die, I want to cut out this butterfly. I'm just going to take the die slightly over the edge of the fold. So can you see that we've gone slightly over the edge? And you can go over as much or as little as you want, as long as you've gone over enough for that to create a join. And I'm just going to tape that down. I'm now going to run this through the die cutting machine, and hopefully that will cut through both layers. And that looks like that's cut through beautifully. So I'm just going to remove a tiny bit of tape, pop that over to one side. And what we've actually got now is this really dinky butterfly card. Why I liked this was because it had the plain green backing, but when that can stand up on its own, you can use that as a mini card if you want to. What I want to do is I want to shape my wings slightly. And I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to crease them together. And I'm going to attach my butterfly to the mini card. And I'm just going to run some tacky glue just up the back of the butterfly. Line this up. And give that a nice press down. Hold that down with your bone folder for a couple of seconds just so that that vellum grabs. While we're waiting for that to stick, we can take our matte layer and we can get this down. So nice even border, top, bottom, and give that a really nice press down. So if we take back in our floating butterfly, if I run some glue all the way around the back. Now these make really, really pretty note cards if you just want to send a tiny note to somebody, because you can write on the inside. I'm going to place this on an angle just so that the tops of the wings are on the edge of the card at the top and the side, and give that a really nice press down. And there you go. We need a sentiment for this. So what I thought I would do is run a sentiment with vellum. And the sentiment that I've decided to use is let your dreams be your wings. So taking in our vellum, I'm going to place my stamp just there, taking the appropriate block, and I'm going to ink this up, the prize ribbon in the Distress Oxides. So I'm just going to ink this up. Come along this end, be your wings. Yeah, I'm going to fussy cut this and see if I can get that straight. There we go. So there's our sentiment. You can dry this off with your heat tool, speed things up. So just dry that off a minute. I can still see that it's wet. Now we can either pop this just straight on to our card like so, which I think looks really quite effective. Down in the corner with the daisies showing through. But I need this to dry so I can show you how to adhere this. Take our tacky glue and pop some down on your glass mat. And I'm going to take in a makeup sponge. I'm going to dab it in the glue, I'm going to dab off, and I'm just going to dab some all over the back. I'm going to pop down, I'm going to try and get that, there you go, let your dreams be your wings. So there we go, the sentiment is adhered to the front of the card. We've dabbed it with the tacky glue and you can't see any of the glue there. Got a really pretty floating butterfly. And then what we could do with this now is inside this piece we could cut the butterfly again, mat this with a white piece, and then you could write a message on there. But I actually like to write my messages on the inside. How pretty is that? Well, I hope you enjoyed my little video. I hope you've learned something. I hope you give this a go. I really love this style of card. And thank you for watching. Until the next time, bye for now.